So I'm standing here in front of the General Post Office in Dublin, one of the main locations for the 1916 Easter Uprising. And what happened is, I'm going to call them rebels, the Irish rebels, took over this building and were using it as their main headquarters. And this building, it got shot up like crazy, and there are still bullet markings in the building. Holed up in here were people like Michael Collins and even De Valera. So they hold up here, and after many days of staying here and getting bombed out, they finally surrendered. When they surrendered, they were counting on being treated properly, but what happened is they started executing some of those that participated in this rebellion. And I think 16 were executed, and it finally stopped due to public outcry from both the British and the Irish. So we're gonna walk around here a little bit, but what they did is they rebuilt the building, but they left a lot of the bullet holes in it. So just looking here at the pillars, you can see the markings from the bullets here. You can go over here, you can see other bullet holes up top. And when we come over here, you can see the numerous bullet holes up here. The kids are checking it out for school or whatnot. Now, one of the things is, over here, we have this large and tall spire. Now that spire was put up, I believe, around 2004, but what was there before was Nelson's Pillar. But the IRA blew it up in 1966, and it stood vacant for about 40 years until they finally came up with the spire that sits here in the middle of the street, right across from the GPO, also known as the General Post Office, where the Irish Rebellion on Easter Sunday in 1916 took place. Now it's a very popular tourist stop. I'm not sure what's inside. We may go in there in a minute, but you can see what it says: the GPO Museum Witness History, because this is where a major event took place. And you can see this uprising is featured in the beginning of the film Michael Collins, which, if you have not seen, watch it. It's a great historical perspective on those events leading up to the eventual assassination of Michael Collins. So it's really, really good. Here we see some more bullet holes all up here. And they're all over these pillars, all up and down. It's a nice little plaque. What it says is, here on Easter Monday, 1916, Patrick Pearse read the Proclamation of the Irish Republic. From this building, he commanded the forces that asserted in arms Ireland's right to freedom. All right here, folks.
Oh, yeah, you did show me that. I got
King Street is finally in our hands, General.
Very good. All batteries target the GPO.
just took a little tour through the museum, and as you can see, I'm standing in the GPO now, and it is still a working post office to this day, which is kind of interesting. In light of the fact of everything this building has gone through, it is still operating as a main post office of Dublin. Now, one of the things I might add is, why did they take this building? One, it's built like a fortress. But two, this was the main communication hub in Ireland, or in Dublin. So when the soldiers from the auxiliary rebel forces, I'm going to call them rebel forces, went in there and secured that building, they also secured the main communication terminals, because when I say communication, I'm talking where back in those days people could drop off a letter and it could be transmitted via Morse code to other places. Even though this building is built solidly, the rooftop is still a rooftop, and by putting incendiary rounds on top, it helped burn them out. So that's one of the main ways that the army here, the British Army, was able to take down this rebellion here. And of course, once they surrendered, they would lead to 16 executions. And fortunately, Michael Collins was not executed, and nor was Eamon de Valera. Now, I'm not sure if de Valera was in here or not. I believe he was, but don't quote me on that. But as I've said, if you want to see a great movie that shows this building during the Easter Uprising of 1916, Michael Collins is the film to see. And there are probably other movies out there that go over the same period in history. So, we decided to take a stroll down Grafton Street, which is kind of like the Ramblers in Barcelona. It's a big shopping district with a wide promenade to walk down. So we decided to take a walk down here. It's a lot of shops, a lot of buskers, which are people playing music on the side. And this isn't the pub area, but this is the shopping area. The pub area is all over Dublin, but the tourist one is the Temple Bar. Although there are restaurants here and stuff like that. But this is mostly for shopping. So, you can see. Nice shirt, Sue.
Thank you.
Sue and I are in matching shirts today, as you can see. Chipper's Island Adventures, coming at you from Grafton Street in Dublin, Ireland.
Blue red lips, blonde hair, blue eyes. I'm about to bid my heart goodbye. Goodbye, tell the auctioneer was going about a mile a minute. About a mile a minute. He was taking bids and calling them out loud. Well, I guess I was really getting in it. Cause I just shouted out above the crowd. And I said, hey, pretty lady, won't you give me a sign? I'd give anything to make you mine, oh mine. I'll do your bidding and be at your beck and call. Yeah, I've never seen anyone looking so fine, man. I gotta have her, she's the one of a kind. I'm going once, going twice. I'm sold to the lady in the long black dress. When she won my heart, it was no contest. Ruby red lips, blonde hair, blue eyes. I'm about to bid my heart goodbye. Goodbye, la la da. Yeah, we found love at the auction block.
A lot of talent sitting over there. First time I've heard a cappella sung on the street here in Ireland. So we're sitting in this nice pub here, down off of Grafton Street, having a meal, having a Guinness. And we're sitting next to Maeve and Dave. Dave is a self-declared ginger, as he let us know. And he's having a good Guinness beer. So what do you think of that card I gave you? Did you recognize it?
Yeah.
What is it?
Chipper's Island Adventures.
Right, should they watch it?
Yeah, I'll watch it, yeah. Definitely.
There you go. Got a thumbs up from Dave on Chipper's Island Adventures. Stay tuned. So we've entered into the Dublin Castle, and in the mountain, and in the Michael Collins film, you see this courtyard featured for the changing of the command, going from the British flag to the Irish flag, which you can see over here. Okay, I'm standing here in Dublin Castle, and I don't want to mess things up with what I know of the history here. So I have James who's going to tell us a little bit about the history. Go ahead, James.
Well, it's basically this place was the Queen's Viceroy residence up to 1922, and then Ireland got its independence, and then we took it over. And now at the present day, it's used for government functions.
Okay. So, and basically, if you watch the film Michael Collins, you can see the changing of command between the British to the Irish Republic with Michael Collins.
Yeah, that's correct.
He was there with the senior British man, which I believe was the Viceroy, correct?
Yeah.
So this would be the Viceroy headquarters during the time period when the British ruled over Ireland. And then in June of 1922, they had their independence declared and the changing of the flag. So the British flag came down and the Irish flag came up. And coincidentally, if you didn't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, the British flag has three colors on it: green, white, and orange. And the white in the middle stands for the truce between the South and the North.
Yeah, that's correct.
The green represents the South, which is the Irish Republic, and the orange represents the North, which is known as Northern Ireland. And Northern Ireland, by the way, still falls under the Crown, and I believe when you get up there, you're under the British pound.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
And miles, correct?
Yeah.
They still do miles up there, or they aren't kilometers?
Yeah, miles.
Yeah, see? He doesn't get up there much,
No,
apparently.
actually, when you say British Parliament, it's actually they have their own parliament up there up the north.
In the North?
Yeah, so
the Irish do, Northern Ireland does.
Protestant and Catholics.
Right.
It's not ruled from England, it's now ruled, self-ruled up the north
right.
themselves. Both like Protestant and Catholic.
Yeah.
Up the north.
Right.
They know it's now.
And what happened here is the Irish always had a table in Parliament when they were under British rule, but as the Sinn Féin movement rose and rose, that party did not have a table in Parliament, correct? And hence they wanted a seat, and that's where the beginnings of the Irish independence began, more or less. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Arthur Griffin founded Sinn Féin.
Yeah.
And he died of a stroke, I think. God, no, 1915 or something.
Yeah.
Like that. He founded Sinn Féin.
And then a year later you had the Easter Uprising.
Yeah, 1916.
Right, which was beginning of the whole domino effect, which eventually ended in the 1922 independence, and then 9 years later they would gain total independence. Right?
But the Constitution itself wasn't, I think it was 1937.
Right.
1937.
Yeah.
Like we're still part of the Commonwealth up to
That's right.
1927.
That's right.
And the Constitution.
I thought it was 9 years later, like 1931 or so.
Yeah, I think it was 1937 because the presidency, we didn't have a president, official president here.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm not going to disagree with an Irishman. I'm not doing it. I think you can see why they call it the castle right here. This big turret leading into this building here. Pretty cool. Interesting talking to James, getting the lowdown on some of the Irish history and the things that happened here at the castle, which was the seat of the British government when they ruled over Ireland. So, and I'm not sure what this is, but it's still part of the whole same structure, but it looks like some type of cathedral, and I'm sure that's probably what it is. So We're gonna take a walk. I'm not sure where, but this is our last day on Ireland. So we're trying to just have a nice laid back day, walking around, checking out the shops, and checking out some of the sites that we hadn't been to yet. With the castle turret here, along these rooms, in one of these rooms, probably the one in the middle, is where Great Britain signed Ireland over, the Irish Republic, signed it over to Michael Collins. And they then went out into the courtyard and did the ceremonious lowering of the flag and the raising of the Irish flag. Right here at the Dublin Castle. This is Molly Malone, who supposedly sold seafood by day and was a prostitute at night. That's about all I know of her. And what people do is they touch the boobs for luck. So there you go. It doesn't really say much about her. Nice statue to Oscar Wilde, one of Ireland's most famous writers and poet. And one of his most famous plays was The Picture of Dorian Gray, which I believe I did read. And brilliant playwright, well respected by the Irish and world renowned here in Dublin, Ireland. So here we have the Halfpenny Bridge. And apparently this was a toll bridge at one time. When they built it, it was the first bridge granted to have toll access. It was built in the first 10 days, it was free of charge to cross. And then after, they charged a half a penny to cross this bridge. I'm gonna walk up here. I believe there's a plaque. Oh, there might be. Let's see. And here it is. But that doesn't say anything about the story. But that is what they charged for this bridge. Then the toll went up after a period of time, and then it came down to where it's no longer existing. But this is the bridge. It's free to cross now, and here you have it. It's one of the more notable pedestrian bridges in Dublin. And you can see on one side you can see there's another pedestrian bridge up there, and then on the other side there's another bridge. So we stumbled across this pub. It's Saturday night. The game is on. And check out this pub here. Big screen TV in the back. There you have it, folks. We just ordered a couple of beers. I gotta tell you, this trip's been amazing. There's a part of my genealogy that feels like I've come back home, and that's no lie. Now, if I lived here, I wouldn't be doing the things I'm doing on vacation, like partying and stuff, like I am on vacation. But there's a part of me that genetically feels this is home. Last night in Dublin, Smithwick's Red Ale, a water pursuit, Sanjay. That is a good beer.